Stav, Abby and Matt.
You're only a what if away from great holidays. What if? It's Aussie for travel.
Stav, Abby and Matt.
Brisbane wakes up with Stav, Abby and Matt on B105.
What's up, podcasters?
What's up?
What's going on?
What's going down?
Interesting show. We want to know what was the most embarrassing thing that happened to a doctor? Like
To a
happened,
doctor?
Well, no, happened at the doctor's.
It's one of the great stories. That's what this one.
What an interesting profession that would be, though, wouldn't it? Just all the things you see and
A doctor?
yeah.
Yes.
You'd have to. You've got to want to do it. It's like my niece wants to be a ambulance first responder.
People get really passionate, don't they?
I was trying to think, is it officer? Is it ambulance officer, or what do you say? But but she loves it. She watches all the like stuff on YouTube of the gory stuff and that. And my sister-in-law as well. She is a nurse and she worked in emergency at the hospital here, and she loved it. She would come home excited because someone had scalped themselves.
Yeah, right.
You know,
I wonder when...
not excited that they'd done it.
No,
like
but I wonder when
treating
that
it.
kicks in, because I think the other people go the opposite way and go like, oh, blood. Like, have they always, I wonder, as like nurses growing up, were they always okay with it? Like, it's not that they were fascinated with it, but you always had to be neutral about it, surely. It's not like you rock up at your first day of a nursing thing and go, blood? Nah, I can't stand the sight of it.
Well, it's weird. I find I come and go with it. There's times where I can sit down and watch this show called Inside the Operating Theatre, and it's like you're in there, and I can watch it go, this is awesome and really interesting. And then sometimes I can turn it on and be like, oh, God, no, turn it off. And I don't
But to
know
get
why.
a scalpel and be okay with cutting through flesh.
Yeah, you got to look at people differently. Yeah.
And then, well, this is what blows my mind about ones that work in surgery. And then he just says he goes and gets lunch. And I'm like, whoa, that would have to be a lot of period between that for me. You know what I mean? It's like I never, ever can forget the sight that I saw down the Gold Coast. And that was from someone who was pumping sewage. And he had the sewage, like the hose, and he'd connected it with the right hand, and he was eating a meat pie with the left.
Yeah, he's not an animal.
I just went,
Poopy hand, pie hand.
wow. I
They
was
do it
like,
in some
that's
countries.
next level, because we even drove past and the smell of it.
Yeah,
and
but he wouldn't
was
smell it anymore, would he?
just connected, and it was like, it didn't even, I
Funny
was-
thing is, what's worse, what's coming out of the tube or what's in the meat pie?
Well, he knows the pie's going to turn into the tube
Yeah,
eventually.
that's true. The circle of life.
But it's like, I know that's fully disgusting, I agree with you, but you get desensitized
Yeah.
when you're exposed to something so many times.
Yeah.
Well, they actually said that being in surgery makes you hungry, because it
Oh,
smells
yeah?
like pork.
Oh, when they burn through the
When they
flame.
burn it. Yeah, my friend's dad was a fireman. He couldn't eat pork anymore.
Well, I guess that's a difference, isn't it? A lot of them are harder to save. These ones are going in for surgery
Yeah.
and saving them, you know?
All right, well, you'll not as much discussing this, just giggles when we talk about doctors later on in the podcast. Let's get into it.
I feel like this year I'm going to the doctors more than anything, because I just want to get on top of things. Get on top of things, you know? Just age appropriately. No, just things that I've been putting off for so long. And I first, after I had a baby, went to a urologist, pelvic floor, all that stuff. And I had went to him like straight after, and I haven't gone back to see him. And I went yesterday because I was like, yeah, I'll come back in a year's time. And then bugger me, 6 years later.
And you've got a marker of that.
Yeah, he's so funny. He's like, and how's your baby? And I was like, oh, my little baby is almost 7. Still my little baby. And he's a lovely doctor. And he's like, but urologists, I think, maybe predominantly deal with older people. So when you're going in there, there's quite a wait room. And a lot of them are really quite older. Do you know what a urologist is now I've said that?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, they do your stuff downstairs.
Pea doctor.
Below the belly button doctor.
Yeah.
Right?
But
But they've
above
got
the knee.
male and women there. And I just was a bit like,
Or is it a brain surgeon? No.
if your brain is down there, sir, then yes, it is.
You got me.
Yeah. But I just remember last time I said something really embarrassing, and I didn't mean it like that. But you know when you just do things and you're like, oh my God, why did I do that? And I have to get like an examination. I just always don't like it. No one likes it, but you know when you're just like, oh gosh. So I always just try to be like, talk or something, or break the ice, or not make it awkward. And
in doing so.
and then you're about to get an examination, and I just said to him, oh, you must love doing mine because I'm young. And I went,
Sorry, hang on a second. So let me... You're laying down.
Yeah.
with no pants on.
And what did you say?
You must love doing mine because I'm young.
Did
'Cause
he,
I meant,
did
like-
he say yes?
What did he
say
say?
anything.
He
He
didn't
just-
say anything.
He just sort of went, as if like, what do you say? I went, well, no, I was just saying like, because everyone out there like it's quite older, and I don't know if that's like harder. So I don't know if like
Stop talking.
not that's because
Stop talking.
not that because of that. I just thought it might be easier for stuff, and then and then I
because
just left.
Because I freshly waxed last week and
Why would I say that? But I just meant because everyone was elderly.
Yeah.
I think you know what you mean.
Yeah. Anyway, and then
Imagine though, if he went, you're not the youngest.
No, but what is good? Imagine
no,
if you.
yes, your age is, but that very different age. No, imagine no.
But what the other way as well. There's no right. What if
I
you?
know,
Yeah,
and then it was
yeah.
weird
I've been waiting
because
all
he's
day
like,
for this.
you've got full marks for your pelvic floor, and I was like, oh, thank you, as if like, oh my god, what am I doing? And then after, I just was talking so much that he just said to me, "You're very funny," but didn't laugh. I was like, thank you, all right, thanks, and then I left. But I just go, why did you say that? And then you just go into that cringe thing in the car where you're like, what did he must have think? Oh no.
I mean, you're very vulnerable in that situation, and you're trying to normalize a very unnormal situation.
And I've done it before. I did the same as what Ashley, our producer, did. I went for my first mole check ever. And I would have thought with a mole check, you go into a room and the doctor said, this is in Sydney, he goes, take off your clothes, right? And I'll leave and I'll come back. And then he came back and he opened the door and he goes, I'll put your underwear back on. And I was like, and he shut the door and I went, what? Why did I get everything nude? But he should have said it. So I was totally nude, and he shut the door as if like he was.
When he ran
disgusted.
away, did you say, "But I'm young. I thought you'd want to see it"?
He was so uncomfortable and asked me to put my underwear back on. So then I had to sit there with my underwear, just like shame. And then I was like, oh,
See, I'll let that one pass too, because they say
Yeah.
that if you have a freckle or something where the sun doesn't shine, usually,
Still.
that's the most dangerous.
they don't. They just normally have your bra still on your underwear, and then they sort of move it aside.
I had the opposite way where I was the one being embarrassed by the doctor.
Why?
Well, I had a boil on my right cheek of my bottom. And I thought I didn't know what it was, and I was just leaving it until the entire right cheek was a boil, and I had almost had blood poisoning. And my mum finally was like, "Why are you taking so long to sit down? What's going on?" I showed her. She took me
This
to
is
the
a kid
hospital.
then?
But teenager.
Right, okay,
I was
yeah,
in
yeah.
high school, and I was lying in the doctor's room, pants down, bum exposed, and the nurse walked in, and I'm in agony, and she's like, "Oh, got a sore bot, do we?" I'm like, "Not the time or place."
But yes, you did have a short bot.
Yeah, and she was a hot nurse.
And he's a lollipop.
Here's a lot. Don't put it there. But yeah,
It is. I think it's a vulnerability.
It is.
And I do just say things when I get a bit nervous, thinking I'm going to make
You have
this
verbal
better.
diarrhea.
Yes.
In a bid to normalize things, you fill the space.
you
When
overcorrect.
really, in hindsight, the silence would be less awkward.
Because what did you say again?
You must love doing mine because I'm young.
I mean, tickets.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, looking out in the waiting room, just judging everyone else's. Mine is going to sparkle.
checks the odometer on it. Oh, there's a few Ks on this old bad boy.
God.
13, 10, 60. Let's make Abby feel better. The most embarrassing thing that's happened with a medical professional. Doctor, skin doctor, maybe in the emergency
You
room.
had one?
Me?
Yes.
What did I do?
Remember you had to go and...
When I had to take my sample to get checked.
No, when you were younger, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, but that was my mum who made it awkward. I found a lump on one of my testicles.
Should check.
And you should always check it, yeah. This is when I was like 15, so I had to get an ultrasound on it. My mum refused to leave the room because she wanted to be
Of course, yes.
she wanted to be across what was going
Yeah.
on. So I had folded up paper towel underneath, pulling everything up so the guy could ultrasound it. And then the doctor said it's just a build-up of fluid.
So you had to...
I had to make sure that...
Yeah. Contrary to popular belief, he wasn't one.
No.
See, there you go. Now I feel better.
Now...
There you go.
And your mum had to be like, Matthew, I hope you have.
Yes,
Wow.
Yes. And I tell you what, that really got me going. Oh, thanks for the reminder, Mum.
Yeah.
Away we go.
Yeah, therapy, here we come.
All right, we'll take your calls next.
Stav, Abby, and Matt for breakfast. B105.
That's the doctor.
This is so embarrassing.
That's embarrassing.
Thank you, doctor.
No, I'm not a doctor.
I admire those people that think before they speak, but it's never been me. And then I always go, why did I say that? And I just said something embarrassing last time I went to the doctor and I had to get an examination. So it was just, the waiting room was filled with elderly people, but extremely elderly people. So then I just said to him, during an examination, you must love doing mine because I'm young. And it sounded weird, but it is weird.
Yep.
13 10 60, we want to know what embarrassing thing happened to you at the doctor's.
Good luck beating that story, but we want them nonetheless, Anonymous. Hello.
Hi. Yes, like Abby, I sometimes speak when I should be quiet. And I had my first pap smear, first jumped up on the bed, doctor came back in. I still had my undies on because I was so embarrassed. She said, I can't do anything with that. She went back out, came back in, I was ready. I was just having a chat. She said, I was 18 or 19, so I was young, trying to sound sophisticated. And she said, how's your vaginal health? And I said, oh, yes, it's quite good, except for just the occasional chlamydia. And then I just kept talking. And she said, I think you mean candida. And I said, oh, yes. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, so one's a yeast infection and the other one is an infectious disease transmitted. Okay.
Mainly by koalas.
I thought, I can imagine her sitting in the staff room, talking to other doctors, laughing her head off at the 18-year-old thinking she had occasional chlamydia.
No, doctor-patient privilege. She can't tell anyone that story.
They do.
That's just checking with other professionals, cross-referencing.
Yes.
Sarah in Bray Park, what's your embarrassing doctor story?
Yeah, so mine's another pap smear one. A couple of years back, had to go for one, so I've had the shower beforehand, freshen up, and just to bolster the freshness before I walked out the door, I thought I'll spray a bit of deodorant to be on the safe side. Couldn't find an aerosol, so I had a little spritzer that I used. Got to the doctor's, jumped up on the table. She's got the light out, did her thing, and then towards the end of it, she asked me, why is it so glittery down here?
Oh, my God, you put a spritz with glitter in it.
Yeah, so thanks to my 6-year-old daughter at the time, it was the first one I grabbed. But it was even worse because she was a Chinese doctor, and it was around the time that skit about the glitter nails came out.
Oh, glitter gel.
Yeah, it was fun. Needless to say, I changed doctors.
Yeah.
Oh, you changed doctors?
Well, it's funny. You're like, I just got to make sure everything's great.
Yeah.
Before I go.
With the light as well, it would have been a disco ball for her.
So, Sarah, the spritz down there, that's like the equivalent of brushing your teeth right before you go to the dentist?
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
Amy, in the Gold Coast, what's your embarrassing story at the doctor's?
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
My experience being young, went to the doctor to get the regular checkup.
Yep.
Up there, all good. The doctor goes to me, oh, you're wetty pink, Miss Amy. I just went, what? Thank you. And tried to get out there as quick as possible.
Oh, my
Very
goodness.
embarrassing.
Was that like a good review? Do you reckon? Like,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was quite traumatizing. My husband still gives me a lot of grief about it now.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Yes.
yeah, lots of fun. So don't feel too bad, okay?
Yeah,
It's really fine. Yeah.
yeah. Do you think that doctor went, why did I say that? Or do you
maybe.
So embarrassing.
Yeah.
So embarrassing. Yeah.
Good on you, Amy. Thanks for calling.
Now here's Just Like a Pill by Pink. Ironic.
Jeanette in Balmoral, what's your embarrassing doctor story?
Hi, guys. It was my first pregnancy 25 years ago, public system in Melbourne. And I was actually 41 weeks pregnant. So I was a week over. I'm only 5 foot. So I'd gone in, stepped up on the chair, laid down on the table, and because you just get a different doctor each visit.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually have a rapport with the doctor or anything. So he came in. He pulled my underpants down for me, which was fine, down to my ankles. Did a little examination and then said, okay, all good, you can go. and left the room. But because of my short arms and whatnot, I couldn't reach my underpants down that were down at my ankle.
Because you were so pregnant, you could.
Yeah, and I'm laying flat, and I was trying to do reach one arm down, and and in the end, I had one leg up, trying to shake the underpants so they'd come back down, and I just had to call out. And another doctor came in. It was so embarrassing because I just had one leg up, and it was very embarrassing.
Oh. Did you have that moment where you're like, "Am I just gonna forget this? Keep them off?" Or
they just wouldn't move. They just wouldn't move. They were big mama buggers.
And how is she going to get up and walk out when she's still got undies around her? What, hop out?
I don't know. I've never been in that position. That's why I'm asking questions, okay? I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, I couldn't sit up. I couldn't even sit up to even grab them because I was, like I said, 41 weeks pregnant. And, let's just say they put me in hospital that next day and I was induced and I was glad that was over.
Wow. Yeah, they say it's a beautiful moment giving birth and, whatever. But I tell you what, you lose your dignity throughout.
What dignity?
Huh?
What dignity?
Stav, Abby and Matt for breakfast. B105.
Now, we've got a huge party coming up. Mum's gone wild.
Yes.
I think give me a couple of hours with DJ Abby Dabby Doo and we can put her up there on the decks.
I'm going to be too busy. You guys, however.
Well, you could be the DJ.
No, but you guys should do it together.
I don't DJ.
No.
Surprise us.
We want Mum.
Yes, but
we want Mum to do a secret
This
set.
is Mum's gone wild, which means night off.
I'll sing.
No.
And that was in the boat.
Come on, if we okay, so what we've got planned.
Please, Stav, do a public performance. I really want you to
is
sing.
epic. The person that we've got to. I don't want to say too much, but the person we've got to entertain is next level, and then you're going to bring the mood down with your guitar and singing.
Okay.
If you can do a set with the person that we've got organised, I'll allow you to sing.
Okay. I didn't even know we had something.
Does your DJ have a remix to the Crash Test Dummies?
They can do anything.
I'm in.
Stav, Abby and Matt for breakfast. B105.
I was watching, me and Roz, we love watching YouTube together, and she has she has weird things. It varies from time to time. Sometimes it's used to be unboxings and families of Americans just living their lives in their mansions and whatnot. Then she got onto true life scary stories of hikers for a while, which was interesting.
She is your daughter, you do have a weird taste of...
That's true.
Shows that you are.
But one thing we can both agree on is we love bloopers. We can watch news bloopers till the cows come home. It's just, there should be a 24/7 dedicated channel that just shows bloopers and people being hit in the balls. That would be, anytime, there's nothing else on TV, you've got your fallback of the bloopers and the balls.
Have you seen the one, I think it's an old one, but it's doing the rounds again, and it's lady sitting at the desk, doing her bit to camera, fully passes out, bang, hits the deck.
Yeah.
And the guy who's on air with her doesn't even go to her, help her. The camera comes to him and he just continues.
Just go on.
And everyone's like, this poor lady's just unconscious. Stop it.
People saw that, right?
Yeah. It looks terrible. But I guess he must have just freaked out.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. And we were watching bloopers and then it occurred to me, because I had a show with one of our old co-hosts at Channel 10 called Couch Time.
He loved doing the show.
We love doing the show.
You love doing it.
We love it. The whole crew, we became like a family, and we used to film on a Saturday, and people would cancel plans so they could film with us. It was the most fun we'd ever had. I'd never laughed so hard. It was so much fun.
That is slightly offensive, but okay.
It was the best thing I've ever done in my life.
I knew it at the time. It was very much he was just doing this little radio thing during the week, and it was all about Saturday.
He's still in love with his ex,
and
he's talking about it in front of us.
I still see them. Sorry. Yeah. Still stay in touch with most of them. We became very close. And one of the best things they used to do, and I know it was just filling time because of you need a certain amount of Australian content, but late at night, after the show had aired during the afternoon, they would show bloopers. They would show our blooper reels.
So for those who haven't seen it, it was you were like the host of Channel
11.
11,
So it was
right?
the first time it came out, I guess, like, was it the digital channel? You know, they were talking about it.
We launched the digital channel, and hilariously, like that's kind of a big deal. We launched the digital. We were the first people on digital TV in Australia. Same day that Brisbane went underwater, so we got no coverage whatsoever.
But it was it was old shows, and you guys would do the little intros in between.
That was Happy Days, and here's Family Ties. But we sort of turned it into a sketch show, and we would do little bits. And I played. There was Stav's dad was a character, and Michael Caine was a character, and all that sort of thing. Had its fans. Had some people that didn't like it too much either. Yeah, and we were watching the bloopers, and I said to Rory, "Oh, we used to have bloopers for Couch Time," and I went on a deep dive of the internet trying to find some, so I could say to her, "Look, I used to be on television. Look at your dad."
Did she see what came up? Because there were some real bad memes.
Yeah. So back in the day, you see these people now, all these snowflakes, namby-pamby people crying anytime someone says something bad about them on the internet. Well, can I tell you, we were the OGs because you do any little deep dive. You don't have to deep dive that deep.
You don't need deep dive.
No. It was a polarizing show. Some people loved it. Some people did not. And in the looking for the bloopers, I found a page that did not. And I would like to play an excerpt of the review of Couch Time.
So there was a Facebook page that was anti you?
There was like wiki pages, there was Facebook, there was like...
Groups. There was groups of people that
I used to be in tears like going, why do people hate you so much?
Yeah, they did not like it.
Can I send him the link of the photo?
Yeah, you can.
I reckon you've almost made it. If people are like...
That's what he kept saying. He loved it so much. The more people paid him out, the more he used to get excited.
I'd forgotten. And I saw this and I thought, I gotta, you'll appreciate it, Matty. So I had to pre-record it because there was just no way to say. And also, this was the only section that I felt that I could get away with, where like this is tame in comparison to the rest of it. And this is not tame.
Okay.
So for anyone that missed it and maybe want to catch up and find it somewhere, this is what you can expect if you ever get to watch Couch Time. It was a bright and sunny day on January 11th, 2011, when Australian TV had gone fully digital and promising brand new stations were about to launch for the first time. One of those channels was Channel 11. The channel schedule looked great, so how could a channel looking this promising ever f*** up? The answer to that is, quite easily. What you do is pluck two absolute f***ing nobodies off the street and make them the voice of Channel 11. These two knuckles consisted of a Buddy Holly looking and an even more limp-wristed looking motherfucker known as simply the without the glasses. Not much is known to the public about these two dickless wanks, and thank for that. We would normally write about these guys' past, present and futures, but in all honesty, like the present, no one cares about these two and no one ever will. It's almost comical when you can't find your remote or your mute button is worn out and you accidentally hear these idiots mention something about expecting them to win Logies for what they do. Like before, keep in mind, we added no apostrophe or surprise mark yada yada yada. If these two morons think that anyone would give them an award or even consider inviting them to be dishwashers at an award, then it stands without a doubt that these two have the combined IQ that's not even as high as the inches of length of the longest they've ever had in their mouths. 5 stars.
I want to hear more.
And you can, sir.
And you know what?
Yeah.
Had I have not known anything about the show, if I read that, that would make me watch the show.
Yeah, he's a
Was
fan.
Rory proud?
She learnt some words.
Can you do another one tomorrow?
Yeah, sure.
Please?
Yeah.
A lot of them are photos.
Yeah, I'm looking at one.
I
now.
Do you know what's so funny?
I can try.
Is I showed Ash this morning. She goes, "What's on Stav's? Why do they put a nose on you?" And I was like, "That's a dick."
Which would be handy.
Stav, Abby, and Matt for breakfast. B105.
Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Because it's been a bit controversial. Tinder, which is the biggest dating app in the world, has now introduced a filter to its premium members only, but it's kind of like secretly done it in the sense that it's launched it as a trial.
Right.
And it's a height filter. So we've spoken to many people before, like, does height really matter? And some people are so passionate about it. And I guess some people are like, well, no, because I would have used it and then I ended up meeting my short king, love of my life. But if you're in the dating world, you know that sometimes can be hard. I'm like, why shorten the pool?
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't use the word shorten then. Why reduce the pool of people?
Well, you're hoping to reduce it down to one.
What I'm saying is I don't think I know what's good for me.
Yeah, right.
You know? So if I was on there, I'd be putting all these expectations on there and then it would be like, just so you know, Abby, they're in Disney movies, unrealistic.
Yeah.
You know, like if that's the case, and I know that people do say that dating is, important, like height's important in their dating world. But then is that going to lead to them doing a weight filter or an income filter?
Well, it already has a weight filter on it, the photo.
Yeah, but what it's saying, well, not really. What it's saying is that you can then slide up or down, saying that you only want to be seen to these people. You only want these people to come forward to you. I don't know. I mean, I guess
it is an interesting one to say. It's acceptable to say I won't date anyone who is under this weight range.
Yes.
Because that's also something you can't choose. But then if someone was to say I won't date anyone over this weight, there would be absolute outrage around that.
Yeah, I get really sensitive because I've got two brothers and one of them is extremely taller than Stav, and one is shorter than me, and they never really knew why. But he used to honestly be in tears about it because people used to openly mock him and say all comments, and I used to think, oh gosh, like why is that open to ridicule when you wouldn't go to someone and go, oh look, you're so big.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess what it is people do this anyway, right?
Yeah.
So you do it, but you do it inside, in your head.
Yeah.
I think it's when you put it outward like that and you say, it's the old saying of you just go, oh, sorry, I'm not feeling it.
People are saying it's over for short men now. What are we going to do? But then other people go, well, it's good because I'm so sick of rocking up and people have lied about their height and that's a big deal for me.
Yeah. Okay.
But I guess if people are going to put that filter, then yes, they have to be open to people using a filter on them.
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, if you've really got a type and you're like, I only want to date someone with black hair.
Just want to check how far apart your eyes are, please. It's just my thing.
I mean,
well, I guess you could, but it's so niche, and maybe in Australia when we don't have the population.
It's almost like when you play a PlayStation game and you get to design your character. You put the eyes on.
I mean, the thing to take away from it too is that if that is going to be a make or break for someone, you don't want to date. You don't want to chase down someone who's going to be that superficial about everything.
Though there are some legitimate reasons for it. Like I legitimately couldn't really date someone who was 4 foot. It just...
Why?
It doesn't work.
Why, though?
Why not?
Because the height difference...
Why?
Because it's weird.
But no, it's not. It's only weird in your head. Why is that weird?
Because you're tiny.
It doesn't matter. People date people with small stature and they have happy relationships. I don't know why...
Yeah. Not for me. So I would use it.
What is it for you, though? What is it about having someone small that you don't like?
If you saw that walking down the street, you would look at it and go, that's weird.
But who cares what people think, though? You see people of different ages.
But no, it doesn't matter about who cares. But why do you think that, though? There is some basis there for that thought process.
I wouldn't think it's weird. I would just be like, that's a tall and a short person together.
Yeah, I reckon it happens all the time. I don't think that's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in your own preference. But then what about people with ages? Do you look at people and go, oh, that's weird. They're so different ages. I think whatever makes people happy, go for it. And I just feel like sometimes you cutting down your options when you might actually have the opportunity to meet someone and go, when you meet those people, I always do when you kind of go, you think someone's so attractive, you get to know their personality and they really become ugly, or the other way. You get to know someone's personality and you're like, oh my God, I never would have gone for them.
I mean, I'll sleep with them a couple of times and then break up with them, but the same thing happens.
What are we going to do? Are we going to put in preference for size of members?
Yeah. It would eventually get to that.
And you think that's good?
Well, I don't technically agree with Tinder on the basis, but if that's what it's doing, then why not do everything so you just get the specific, exactly what you're looking for?
You wouldn't bother with the size of stuff from men because you would take 5 centimeters off every single time.
Yeah. And what would you have to do? Like the AI would have to prove it?
Like you'd scan it, and give its actual measurement.
Yeah. And it comes back.
Only time you want them to send a pic.
I know what you're saying. Where you have those preferences.
You're already like Matty said. You're already doing this quietly. when you're swiping, and that's just as damaging too. Just swipe. No.
I would have never, if I was going through a catalogue of preferences, I never would have chose my husband. And I love him to bits. And he's the most attractive guy for me, but I never would have. And that's why I think the sad opportunity for that is that if
Mr. Perfect's still out there for you.
But you know what? And I don't know.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's just where do you draw the line? Why are some things accepted to judge but not others?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I guess that's their feedback of saying that's the most important thing. I don't know, 13, 10, 60, you can share your views on it.
Larissa,
whether you would use it.
in Upper Kedron has called through. She's a turbo caller. Larissa, what do you think about this feature coming on to Tinder?
You know what? I don't want to be disrespectful or anything, but if a woman's going to judge a man for how tall he is, and you're going to say that, okay, the centimeters of your length, then a man should be able to say, okay, can you get on the scale, please?
Yep.
Let's see how fat you are.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Change the things you can change, but the things you can't change, accept them and love them for the way they are. Because inside that short man might be this amazing heart, and inside this tall man might be an amazing heart. So you know what? You judge the person not for what they look like, but for what they are. So if a woman's going to judge a man for their height, okay, let's judge you for your weight. I'm sorry, it's really disrespectful. It sounds really bad. But
no, it doesn't.
We agree, Larissa.
Well, I always feel as well, like marriage is long in the sense that do you want to just date someone for their physicality? Like it's, I don't know. I know it sounds very thing, but it is like inside we're qualities and you might limit your option to find out those qualities.
That is true. But I don't think many people are hitting Tinder with the marriage being the end game.
A lot of them are.
Yeah.
It's the only way people are really meeting these days.
Yeah,
No one goes to
all
the
my
pub,
friends
do
are,
they?
like, honestly, the last even 5 weddings I've done, everyone's met on Tinder.
Except they can't take their tape measure to the bar, can they? Come over here. Can you stand against the wall for me?
Go back to back.
More calls next. Stand by.
Stav, Abby and Matt for breakfast. B105.
Tinder has started trialling something. They tried to do it quietly and everyone's like, we're going to share that. It's for premium users. So they're trialling a height filter, and I guess, is this the start of all filters? Where you then can start going income, weight,
Yep.
hair colour,
Number of children,
relationship with their mother, all that sort of stuff.
body count.
A lot of the time.
Would that be? Imagine if they brought that
And look,
in.
some people say it's a great thing, and I guess the reason they've chose height is because there's a lot of people are saying that's really important to them. We just went on 13, 10, 60. What's your thoughts on it?
And ironically, we're running late, so let's keep this short. Kishan
You're
in
such a heightist.
I am. Kishan in Inogra, what's your thought on this?
My Tinder profile said I'm 5'9", I only want to date people taller than me, and next year I'm getting married to somebody that's 5'7".
So you obviously didn't meet him online, or you did?
I did, yeah. He was meant to be a one-time thing, and we ended up talking for about 3 weeks, fell in love with him over the phone, met him, realised he was short, and I was like, oh no, what have I got myself into? I've only ever dated people that were 6'3" and over, and he is the most amazing person, and it's still in my head that I can't date a short person, but 5 years later, I am working through that, and now we're getting married.
But why? Why, Kishan? Why did it matter how tall he was?
I think just because society, it's tall, dark and handsome, you've got to be, picked up by your boyfriend, you've got to lean up to kiss them, they look down on you. I was really overweight at the time as well, so he's like, and now I'm not, but he's like, he couldn't care less what I looked like, and I think we are just so focused on how tall people are, big people are, we just all want that perfect, romance movie.
And it's biological, though, too, going back to, like, caveman days, in all seriousness, of a tall someone to protect you.
Kind of, but when's the last time anyone's partner picked him up and twirled him around to the room
but
and
that sort
got
of
away with
biological gene stuff takes
Yeah, but I feel like
eons
society's
to weed out.
changed in the sense that, previously men worked and women didn't.
Also, just got to ask, are you named after the Cold Chisel song? Because that's awesome.
I am, yes.
That's
yeah.
great. Well done, your parents.
Good on your case, son.
Renee in Mango Hill, what do you think about the height filter on Tinder?
Look, I've got to be honest, being a girl, being a woman, I guess, in my early 40s, and I'm just under 6 foot tall. I am on the higher average, taller average of a woman. And I do want, and I do have on my profile, I'm almost 6 foot tall, and I do want someone that is over 6 foot. I always just think it's not about a stature thing. I'm a tall person. I'm not a big person. I'm a tall person. And I just think it's always been like that for me. All my family is tall.
Yeah.
I want someone that is tall. I like to wear high heels.
Yeah.
I like to be feminine. I don't want to be... It is very old-fashioned, like you said before, the protector. I do want someone to feel like they're protecting me, not me protecting them or me
What makes you think, though,
them.
that you would have to protect them, though, if they were shorter than you?
Oh, I just think it's not even about the social, the Instagrams and things like that. It's just, I just feel it's that old school. It's that old school traditional way back, before our grandparents were alive, that the man was always the protector. I'm a strong non-feminist as well, so I am very old school in my way of thought.
What about, because I don't know if you've met someone now, but what would it be? Would you still stick to that and be single for the rest of your life? If that was the case, would you still prefer that quality over anything else? Or if you were to then go, wait a minute, I really want to find something, you wouldn't change that?
Abby, when I was younger, I did date people that were about 5'10".
Yeah.
But I just think, I've been married before. He was 6'2". I've been single the last 5 months from a 6'3". I am in the early stages of dating someone that's 6'1".
Yeah. So they're out there. You just got to say, what are you into? Basketball?
They are out there.
Kat wouldn't have got with me if I was shorter than her.
It's not even that. It's just they are out there. But even on a dating site, you even get people that will make comments and say, do you know that's the 8%, that's in the 8% of the population of tall men? And I just think, oh, okay, let's look at your height. Oh, you're 5'7".
Yeah.
So
well, I guess you're putting down a
syndrome.
Yeah. Well, you're putting down a physicality of something that they can't change, and then we do get sensitive about other things that we can't change that people aren't allowed to comment on.
Exactly, but why can't I have my preference to wanting someone taller? And then I've got shorter friends that are wanting people taller in my heights. And I go, go in your own fish pond.
Hashtag no tall men. Kirsty.
Love to hear from men on this one too.
Yeah?
Sorry. Yeah, if there's any guys who want to join in on this, it's all ladies at the moment.
Kirsty in Aspley. What do you think?
Hi.
Hey.
Okay, so I've been married twice, and my first husband was 6'5" and beautiful. He still is very beautiful, but he has the personality of a damp washcloth. So height doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Yeah.
And my current husband is 5'9", and we've been happily together for 13 years. So height isn't always everything. Again, beautiful, beautiful human, but just dull because he relies on his beauty and his height now for everything.
The hair's thinner up there, to be fair.
But I think it's that opportunity to have that connection. Do you know, when you're only sort of looking and swiping from the physicalities, you don't change that perspective because you can't see their personality.
No, exactly. You look at photos and everyone's like, gosh, he's beautiful. And I'm like, yeah, but he's not bright now. He used to be, before he realised that he was pretty as well.
Right.
And then he, point in case, he went on The Bachelorette and got voted out third because there was just nothing with personality.
Oh, my God, you keep going.
Kirsty, can you just tell us what you really think?
Yeah. I love him. He's one of my good friends. But no.
We know, boring as hell. All right, we've got a guy here wrapping it up. Stephen, what do you think about this?
So I want to just look at the difference, because if you're 6'2" and they're 6'1", and you're being a bit picky over that little difference.
Yeah.
I think that's where the problem lies. I've been married now for 19 years. I'm taller than my wife, and it's not about the physicality at all in any way, shape, or form. And we're going on 19 years.
Yeah. See, there you go. Short Kings unite. Just don't be boring.
Go, on each other's shoulders.
Stav, Abby and Matt for breakfast. B105.
My wife has been away for work in New Zealand the last couple of days this week, which means I've been left at home unattended.
Uh-oh.
With the children.
Uh-huh.
Everything's
and a
fine.
babysitter.
Yeah, well, we have a nanny that comes in the morning when I'm here at work. To take the
Extremely
kids to
competent,
school.
as you always say.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Mhm.
I love it. But I realised I'm terrible at making tiny decisions.
Oh.
And I don't know, maybe they're not tiny decisions, but whenever I go to the shops, and I don't know whether this is every man or just me, I get stuck on whether I should buy the thing that the kids need. So I went and bought pants yesterday for Xander. He's got no long pants.
And did you make this decision yourself, or was it more like, oh, he's out of pajamas or something? Go.
Well, we're going camping on the weekend.
Great,
He's
yep.
got no long pants because he's grown a foot in the last 6 months. So I'm like, I'm going to have to go get him long pants, otherwise he's going to freeze to death. But then when I get to Kmart to get the long pants, I have to ring my wife and double check, is he a 10 or a 12? Now I know he's a 12. But there's something in me goes, no, you don't know the truth.
Well, and it's right, because sometimes you go to different shops and they're big sizes. So even though you know that they're a 12,
Yeah.
sometimes it depends. At Big W, I notice that they run big.
Yeah. So I ring her for that. And then she goes, get the ones with drawstrings because he's,
Likes the drawstrings.
Yeah, and he's a bit skinny. I'm like, yeah, great. But then I do it when I go to the shops as well. Like when she's like, I need pasta. I'm like, okay, sweet. And mind you, there's 5,000 versions of pasta.
There is a lot of pasta.
They all taste the same. They're just different little shapes.
Yeah, but they're different. You have your favourites.
But I can't make decisions on stuff like that. I feel like if it's out of my jurisdiction, I have to double check.
I think I know what it is. And it's not that Esther is hectic with those.
She couldn't care less. She's happy not to have to be at the shops herself.
Of course, so she wouldn't. But I feel like you're probably the same as Scott. And at every single moment, you're really waiting for a, Matt, you're such a good boy. You did really well. You know what I mean?
I do like a belly rub.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, you like getting it right.
I think it's
And
the
not
opposite.
it's not that she's like, oh, God, they were the wrong one. It's just like, oh, that's great. That's perfect. And you're like, yes.
No, I think you're afraid of getting the wrong one and getting into trouble.
I don't think she'd get in trouble. I don't think she would.
No, you're right, because she wouldn't care. She's just happy that it's something she doesn't have to do.
Yeah.
But
they're like little boys you want to do well. And get treats for doing so well.
you're exactly right.
I know.
Because, even
like
la-
he's never going to clean a bathroom and just go, you know what, my wife's not actually going to be home for 2 weeks, so she'll never know. That would be pointless. But if she was going to come home and the bathroom's clean, he's like,
get out of my brain.
safe.
She goes to me last night. She comes home. She goes, did you make the kids' lunches? Now, I make them when she's away. She makes them when she's home.
Oh, those lunches, not a big deal.
Yeah. She goes, so I could have done them in the morning. I said, yeah, but I am trying to free up all the spare time you've got in the next 2 hours. So I said, sir, you can search.
Well, you think I'm cleaning? I am taking away excuses.
Exactly. So.
And there is nothing wrong with that, because I tell you what, you end up going, well, actually, yeah, that's a better option than all of that, so that's not too bad. Yeah.
All the washing's folded and it's put away.
Because I am well behaved. I can't say good boy anymore because that.
No, you can
work.
say good boy.
Yeah,
Say good boy. Maybe
and then you
that's
just
what
feel
it
like, yeah, cool.
is. Yeah, because I'll make all the other decisions, but I get paralysed by tiny little ones sometimes.
And there are so many options when you go to the shops these days.
Yeah, what do they call that?
You know what decision paralysis?
Yes.
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 You know what they should do? You know when you can call like a doctor, there's one number and you phone them to say about your symptoms and they say whether you should go to hospital or not.
Yeah.
There should be that option.
For a husband.
Okay, so what store are you in? What aisle? All right. Now,
Dial a wife.
Yes. And you
Yes.
call up and they're like, thank you so much.
Because then you've done the thing and it looks like you made the decision on your own. You haven't bogged her down in having to tell you what to do. The lady at our local Woolies, I reckon she just sees me as a helpless senior citizen because she sees me wandering around. She always comes up to me. She's like, can I help you look for something? I go, yes. And she'll tell me where to go. And then the other day, she helped me find Milo. I was looking for Milo.
What aisle did you go to if you didn't?
I was looking in the chocolate aisle.
No,
it's in the coffee, yeah.
I know that now.
Oh, you could do a wife or dial a Stav.
Yeah, they're going to help. And then
I can do all the services. And I don't make you work for it.
Oh, then I won't even have to do school lunches.
And we can watch the Broncos.
I love
at the
it.
same time.
I go to hers. I was paying for it. I go, thank you. You've saved me about an hour of wandering around. I go, do they ever move the Milo? She goes, no. I said, but they do the Zuper Dupers. Every time I come to get Zuper Dupers, they're in a different spot. She goes, no, they're not.
No, they're not either. Because they're not frozen.
No.
Yeah.
No, I know. But I looked in the freezer. I'm like, why are they not here? Anyway. Good luck out there, fellas. It's a tough world.
Stav, Abby and Matt for breakfast. B105.
The girls have gone wild. Girls gone wild.
They've gone wild.
We're mums who never get out or do anything. Give me 1 margarita, 2 margaritas, give me 3 margaritas, Mum's gone wild.
Not my suggestion. It was Lauren. In fact, we need to call Lauren back and invite her to Mum's Gone Wild because she called up and said that we deserve to have one. And in fact, we need one. I was like, that's a great idea. Let's do that. And then 2 minutes later, we had it organised, which is what mums do. They make things happen.
That's
so, yeah, put it in your calendar. It's the 28th. It's 28th?
28th of June.
28th of June.
It's a Saturday.
Yes, it is indeed. And then Sunday we've got off. But you can register at the WIM page at b105.com.au. I just put in chat GPT. Why do mums need a break?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, and what has AI said about that?
It said that mums need a break being a mum because it's actually quite relentless. It's full-time and unpaid, emotionally intense. Yes, I know, I hear you. And it said these are the reasons why we need. Mental load is real. Mums don't just do things, they remember things, appointments, lunches, birthdays, immunisations, where the socks are, things like that. Yes, that's true. Burnout prevention.
Mm-hmm.
So to prevent burnout, you need like a time off. So the constant caregiving leads to exhaustion. So that's what we're going to do to recharge. And then you come back as a better parent.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you've got that hangover regret, you really appreciate being
throw yourself
a parent.
in.
And I'm
Get
gonna be
charged and recharged.
I'm going to be here all the time now. I'm so sorry I did that.
What does it say if you ask why do dads need a break?
Oh, well, it keeps coming back to you. And I tell you, why don't you organise one?
I didn't say. I just
We're gonna.
You're going to? Okay.
Oh, we'll get ChatGPT to do it. The first time I want to use AI.
Modelling self-care, we're showing kids that we actually have healthy boundaries and respect ourselves so much to have a break.
Mm-hmm.
And because we're still a person, we were a mum before anything else. So
No, you're
there
a
you go.
person before anything else.
Well, whatever. I don't know what it says.
Yeah,
Do you want me to type in for you or not?
yeah, because it'd be
Why don't you
hilarious.
just, why does Stav need a break?
No, dads, because I'd like it to
Why
go. They
do
don't.
dads? No, you will need a break.
So their wives can have a break.
Why do dads need a break? They don't. They're always on a break. No, it says
We want ChatGPT's answer.
It says to be present. Many dads are juggling work stress. Modern dads wear more hats. There you go. Mental health matters. Quality over constant and relationship recharge.
There you go.
Not as interesting, but still. We are going to give our first official invite to Courtney and Crestmead.
Woo! Awesome. Hi, guys.
Hey, you're coming along. How exciting. And you have to bring another friend. Who are you going to bring?
I'm going to bring my mate, Terena Moana. She's listening right now, too.
Hey. And you are a big fan of something else we're doing. You were at the were you at the very first Fridays Live, or you've been to a Fridays Live?
Yeah, we went to the 2019 one with Janet Jackson.
Oh, yes.
And
Good night.
where was your partner?
Well, we found out at the end of the night while we partied all night. He was actually at the Watchtower in Brisbane.
Oh, he ended up... You lost him in the crowd and he ended up in the watch house.
No, we lost him outside before we even got in. And I was sort of had everybody's IDs and passes to get into the concert, but I heard some music playing. I didn't want to miss out, so I ran into the concert with a few other people and left him outside. And I figured he'd make his way in, but yeah, he didn't.
Well, because you had his pass, so did he try and sneak in?
Oh, I ended up I found one of the guys that we went with. There was about 6 of us, and I gave him everybody's stuff. But eventually, he obviously didn't catch up with him. My partner's tried to run him without his pass.
So then he ended up in the watch
He
house?
got picked up, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. And you didn't even know?
He got, tackled. No, I didn't know. So halfway through the gig, I got in touch with the boys who were there, and I thought they said he was with them.
Right.
They thought I said he was with me. So when we all met up at the end of the night, we're like, where's Dion?
And he was
waiting
in the
to be
watch
bailed out.
house. So did you not get any phone calls, or did he not get a phone call there?
No, we were ringing around everywhere. We even we were calling the hospitals and everything trying to find him. We went to the watch house as well, and they said he wasn't there. And then as we were coming back, we stopped and asked again, and they said, oh yeah, he's here.
Wow.
We're going to have security for this party, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Just to babysit us, I think. That's great. Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be fun partying with you.
Oh, I can't wait either. Thanks, guys.
Oh my God! There's officially 2 people coming, and they're both liability.
Yep.
But you know what? I'm standing out the side of my house just hiding because my kid's inside screaming. That's how much I need. We need like a good night out. Yeah.
But that's right. You got this to look forward to. So deep breath in, deep breath out. Now go back inside and show them who's boss.
Yeah.
Good on you, Courts. Looking forward to it. This is going to be insane. Now, there's already 200 people who have registered to come along, and we want you to be there. We're going to make this the biggest Mums Gone Wild we've ever done.
Thank you.
Go to our website. You can get the link via the Stav, Abby, Matt Insta page. There is a registration link there in our bio. The 28th of June, it's going to be huge.
Stav, Abby and Matt for breakfast. B105.
Globally, about 10% of people will experience an eating disorder during their lifetime. And yet, eating disorders are profoundly misunderstood.
Yeah, we did speak to Lisa Curry about this, about the fact that they're doing, I guess, one of the biggest studies on eating disorders to find out more about it and maybe who's potentially more at risk by doing DNA testing. It's an interesting study, and if you want to be involved, we're going to put the link up on our Instagram. They're asking for 4,000 Australians to volunteer, so I'm just about to do my little DNA test. You fill out the survey first, and then if you're eligible, they'll send it to you. But I just want to know more about the science behind it, because that is always what is a little bit above me. Professor Sarah Maguire, who's doing it, good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for already participating in the study, or intending to at least.
Well, I think it's a hard one because we can always talk about, I guess, influences. There's many times we've spoken about, models. It was always like Dolly Magazine is a bad influence on things like this. And, I guess having parents that might have been dieting as well in front of you and talking bad about their body. And we've known all about those sort of influences. But then from a medical point of view, what are you studying?
Well, we're studying the genetic influences of eating disorders, all of them. We've already been studying anorexia for a while and made some pretty interesting findings there. And now we're broadening our research to cover a lot of the eating disorders, not all of them, but binge eating disorder, bulimia nervosa, ARFID, which is a highly avoidant and restrictive food intake disorder that essentially happens in childhood but can happen across the lifespan. And we know that it's not going to be just those environmental influences that you talk about, that for some people it's well known. Actually, for a lot of people, I don't know that it's that well known, that environmental influences can have that sort of impact. But certainly genes have an impact in eating disorders based on all the available evidence.
Answering some of the questions for me, I was like, I guess I'd never really put it together. So it was little things like, well, some of the questions, and you know that there's many in there, were like, have you ever been diagnosed with OCD? And I was like, well, yeah, as a child. And I was like, have you been diagnosed with ADHD? And I was like, yeah, well, in year 8, before it was never really heard of. So are you saying that some of those can have the characteristics, or are you saying that they might all be on the same gene?
Well, there's a couple of reasons why you'd ask questions like that. First, one reason is that you need to know what other things are going on for the person.
Right, okay.
So that in your analysis, you can sort of control for those things. But yes, also at the same time, we know that some of these things co-occur. So OCD and anorexia nervosa, for instance, are probably very closely related. And we, in the first study of the anorexia genes, that certainly was borne out to an extent. And we expect that when we get to the point of calculating a thing called polygenic risk scores, which, if all the research goes well, and certainly lots of other illnesses can do this, if we get many thousands of people, tens of thousands, I mean, ideally we need hundreds of thousands, but the funders only fund what they fund. But if we get tens of thousands of samples, we think we will be able to calculate what's called an individual polygenic risk score for an individual person. And we expect that will probably be highly correlated with obsessionality.
Right. Yeah. And so with that, you would be able to, early prevention, you'd be keeping an eye on this person because you know that they're prone to this kind of thing, and stopping the behaviours before they got too far. Would that be the kind of thinking?
Well, it would be one of the kinds of thinking. I mean, we all know that once we go into that territory of testing people and then saying, right, you're at risk, we've got to deal with that information very sensitively as a society. But probably the thing that people know less about is that when you're talking about the genetic building blocks of illness, you're talking about the biology of an illness. And when you're talking about the biology of an illness, you're talking about drugs, you're talking about interventions, you're talking about research to to target it at a particular biological pathway that can make breakthroughs much, much, much quicker.
Right.
So the hope is that if you can find out exactly how these illnesses are built, then you can develop therapies that will turn off parts of them. Not going to turn off all of them, in my opinion, because I think it's a diathesis model, like you said, Abby. Our environment definitely plays a role. But if we can reduce through targeted interventions a person's vulnerability, that could make and should make all the difference in many cases.
All right.
Is there a chance throughout this you'll find not just people who are avoiding food, but you might actually find the genetic links to people who can't control their eating and who overeat, so therefore it might actually curb obesity as well?
Well, that's exactly right. In scope is eating disorders is a broad church, I suppose. And so we've got the more restrictive, highly restrictive type illnesses, but then we've got illnesses that are marked by binge eating, which are highly comorbid with obesity and have been underdiagnosed by the most massive margin in that group. People think they have no control, they have no willpower. If you think that about yourself, go to our website. That is not the case.
And I mean, even some of the questions as well does involve use of drugs and alcohol as well. So you realise it's not just, I guess, for eating disorders, but eventually these sort of studies will branch onto a lot of things that are debilitating in people's lives, you know, and destroying, I guess, people's lives and also families.
That's right. And a lot of the mental illnesses are doing these sort of genetic wide association studies. At the moment, a bunch of them are way in front of us with hundreds of thousands of samples, and we are finding shared genes across mental illnesses. So we will find shared vulnerabilities, then we'll find unique vulnerabilities, and then we'll be able to develop targeted interventions.
Wow, it's fantastic.
Well, we've got all the details on our socials. If people are thinking that they'd be able to help with this study, make sure you go and check that out. Search Stav, Abby and Matt or B105 Brisbane. Professor Sarah Maguire from the Inside Out Institute at Sydney University. Thank you for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Bye for now.
Stav, Abby and Matt.
Alpha Bucks tomorrow, 6, 7 and 8. Your chance to win $50,000.
6 a.m. Hold on to your hats, guys. It's Q. Some of your answers are Quokka, Qualify and Qantas. 7 a.m. it's F. Some of your answers are Foundation, Ferry and Ferrari. And 8 a.m. it's C. And some of your answers are Calm, Cake and Coffee.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
Stav, Abby and Matt for breakfast. B105.